Well, good morning. Welcome back to Tail 3 Cabins. It was kind of a rainy evening. We kind of delayed having to do the final grade now for about 2 or 3 times because of weather. It's a little wet today, but they just showed up. So I think we're going to knock this out and get out of the way. One more step in the process. So why don't you stick around and check it out.
Morning.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good, and you?
Oh, all right.
Yep.
What's the game plan today?
Yeah, push some dirt, I guess.
Yeah?
So, yep, you bet. Yeah.
Jordan was thinking there's going to be extra dirt now or something?
Yeah,
or?
that's something maybe about a little extra, so.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you envision here?
Yeah, I'll check on part of the back bank there, see what that looks like up here. But
That pole's got to get moved out of the way, but maybe if we were to like make more parking, that might be a good spot.
That'd be, we're good there to fill that up.
Yeah.
Make some more.
And then they had dumped a bunch of crap over there. I don't know if that could be like stuck down first and then whatever dirt put on top.
Oh,
maybe?
yeah, we could do that. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You probably we could cut that back a little bit if you want it, or you want to make so you mow it, or just
So we could try to get a mower, yeah.
on it.
And then how much of the drive would you be leaving of this drive?
It's here. Were you wanting to try and park up here, or were you?
I think so. I think now that it's here, I would say, you know, we'd like to be able to park here, and then what happens over here is not too critical. We might make a deck one day off of the door and then come in this way.
Okay.
But that'd be years down the road.
Right.
Or who knows?
Yep.
And then of course the septic system's
Going out in there.
got to go in there somewhere. So
So I'm guessing in this bank here, you want to try and make so you can mow maybe, or you want to just leave it. I mean, I can grade it off.
yeah.
You're up to even to here. You can still give you room to park one vehicle in here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, plus I don't know how much we're gonna lose after you're all done. You know, once you can see, you know, this is already
Out there.
starting to go.
You know, we could shave this off and use some of this dirt over there, then we can still leave your parking, unless we get taper down to where that sand's at.
Okay.
As long as you don't want to lose too much room down there, probably.
Right. On the edge of the sand probably would be like the boundary line.
So if we could taper it from, say, here to there, I don't think it'll actually be real bad. So,
Okay.
I mean, it'd be about like the back probably. So
Okay.
I might kind of work it once to see what you think. But,
Okay.
you know, might have a little bit extra, but if I taper that out, there'll probably be one slope from here to that sand. That
Okay.
would still leave a decent little area here.
Is that in the way, those blocks over
Yeah,
there?
we'll probably grade that up. Would you want to try and turn around that way? It's a little hard with the electric pole there, but
I'm almost thinking that
if I could fill that corner in, if you want to try and back around.
you could park a car here too if you wanted to. Yeah.
So we get some decent,
So-
we could fill in around that.
Yeah.
Electric
And then
pole
just
a
so
little
you know, his ground, he came out with another ground rod somewhere over here, like 8 feet from that one.
bit. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So just so you know, it's somewhere in here. I don't know
Somewhere in here.
if they buried it or if you can still see where it's at.
See the ditch there a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that was the wire going to the house.
To the house.
But I know they knocked a ground rod down in here somewhere, and then one over there.
Okay.
So
So yeah, well, you probably don't want to put any topsoil in this area then when if you're going to park
yeah, I'm
here.
thinking we're gonna try to stick stone in here or something, and then stone over there. Like if I put stone down, would it be best to put down like a vapor barrier before
Would
I put
be
it
where
down?
it's flat up here. It'll just help from disappearing in the clay. So yeah.
All right.
If it's on a hill, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
It'll slide on your fabric.
Okay.
But it's over here where it's flat. You could do that. Would you take stone back to your door probably?
Yeah, just so it's we're not tracking mud in. So
we do topsoil. We just bring it up just to the corner, maybe straight out, and just put stone back to your corner. Topsoil spreading, you'll do as good as you can, but probably going to be pretty.
you're not gonna till it and
No.
go seed down?
You should maybe.
All right.
No, we'll try and level out. It was pretty wet when you took it off.
We're gonna get a 1,000-gallon holding tank,
Okay.
and they're thinking about putting it in here.
In there. Okay.
Yeah. So just so you know, I don't know how it's all gonna play out.
Yeah.
And there's
it'll be out in
There's
there.
a spring about 200 feet that way, so
Okay.
the spring would just go to the holding tank, and then
And then to the house.
yeah.
Okay.
And then what, usually put like a little culvert in there, or
Yeah,
like a
that's
window
bigger.
well type of
Yeah,
thing.
but we'll just leave it open and usually.
All right, just a little refresher here. That is all topsoil, so that pile is going to get spread out last in the areas that we plan on planting grass. Out in front by the house here, we're going to try to keep this as a little makeshift driveway or parking area. It'll be half grass, half parking. And then behind the house, it's going to be a little tricky. They're trying to give us a little less of an angle so we can get a lawnmower to go up and down and cut the grass here. But also, the water has to flow away from the house. So there's going to be a swale in between there. The camera never really does well when it comes to angles, but that's a pretty steep angle that bulldozer's on, and I know JD would not be able to handle that one bit. So one thing that was hard to fathom was the old cabin was smaller and it didn't take up a lot of room in our lot, at least the cleared out area portion of our lot. But now this house is a little bit wider, and I kind of wish that we would have pushed the woods back a little bit further before we set it. And the reason I say that is because we disturbed a lot of ground here, and inevitably a lot of trees are probably going to die, so those trees potentially could fall or large branches could come off of them. Not to mention the leaves falling in the gutters, so it would have been nice maybe to push it back a little bit, but again, it was hard to fathom just how much area that was going to take up. Since our last video, they did tie in the electric wire from pole to pole, but if you look, there's a thin copper line that goes from that pole over to a tree. And I think that's just temporary. I haven't heard anything from the electric company yet, but I think they're going to want a guy wire on that pole. So if you watched the first part of this video, or paid attention anyways, you know that we want to make a little parking area across from the driveway, and we're going to use a lot of this excess dirt over in that section to make a good sized parking lot. Here's the start of it, and watch till the end to see how it all plays out. All right, so there's a lot of noise going on outside while they're doing their final grade. I just wanted to touch on a few things, and one of them was when I showed up here is that we've got electricity now. So the wire was hooked up from pole to pole. I came in here, turned on the breaker, had to turn the breaker on out by the pole, and selected the breakers that I wanted for now. I made sure that none of the utilities were turned on and made sure the hot water tank was not turned on by accident, because that would just fry your elements. There is like a lockout tab in there right now, so you can't turn that on by accident. So that was great. I don't have to bring any more power stations. I'll bring maybe just one or two just to have down by the shed when I'm charging cameras. Right now I have one down by the shed. I've got a solar panel on top of the roof, and I'm just charging my drone batteries and everything down there. I got my cooler going down here. I didn't turn the fridge on yet. I don't really want to use the fridge yet. Don't want to turn it on until we're ready to permanently use it. I just know the power is going to be going on and off for a while things still got to be completed. The air conditioner's got to be installed. Septic system has still got to be installed. Water. I'm just trying to figure out the way the grade is going out there now with the equipment, how we're going to do things, whether we're going to plant grass, wildflowers, what can the mower get to and what can't the mower get to, where we can park cars, how much stone we might need for new parking areas, and to dress things up. I'd like to start dressing things up now because I would like to not track so much mud inside here. And I'm doing a pretty good job. I always take my shoes off outside, but when it's raining, sometimes it's a little difficult. But I'd really like to get some gravel and stuff situated around here just to keep down on the mud. But I don't want to do anything until they put the septic system in and they're done tearing their stuff up. Kind of funny, we had this grill sitting here and I thought it was going to get torn up during the first excavation part of the process, but it just, everybody seemed to be working around it, and I don't really care if it makes it or not. So I did ask the guy if he could just pull this up gently. Maybe we could salvage it, maybe not, but at least they don't have to be working around it. As I said earlier, the camera does not show angles very well, but the key back here is to try to get a swale. And you'll see that just kind of in the left corner working its way back. But from the house to the left here is a small pitch, and then there's a much larger pitch there on the right. And the two kind of come together, and that's where hopefully most of the water is going to flow. Alright, so this is the start of laying down the topsoil on top of the areas where we think we're going to be planting grass or wildflowers. You'll notice the topsoil does have a darker brown tinge to it compared to the clay color of the rest of the soil. They were able to pilfer some stone from certain parts of the driveway that had it laid on pretty thick to extend our little driveway up to the house here. Here's the parking area so far. This will get covered in some fabric and then some stone on top, and that'll be a good job for JD. Alright, and that's going to be it for the bulldozer. So you can see with the darker topsoil, that's where grass or wildflowers will be planted, and then the lighter soil is going to have gravel. Okay, so they just left doing the final grade work here, and the way it's going to play out is we could probably park 2 cars up here. Bad thing is that all this dirt, when I start bringing stuff down here, I think the next time I come down here I'm going to try to bring a queen size mattress and some bed frames and I'd like to put stone down here so I'm not tracking dirt or accumulating mud on my shoes, but they still need to do the septic and the water over here. So I don't want to finalize things too soon while there's still going to be disrupting the soil here. So I'm going to have to come up with a game plan next time I come, just so I'm not tracking mud in and out of the house. I have a good idea what the height's going to be for making a set of steps. It's not going to be too difficult. Same thing on the other door over here. If you look at the darker soil back here, I think we're going to just plant grass in that area for now. If we decide we wanted to make more parking, we could park further down. There could be a deck. We might decide to make a deck off of the front door and then just put a deck off to the left. A lot of things up in the air. It's not going to all happen this year, but for now I think what we'll do is once the septic and the water's in, we'll put gravel down in this area, make a nice parking area, figure out how we're going to make a shortcut going over to the fire pit. It's a little bit of a steep climb, so I think we're going to have to make steps. I don't think like a little gravel walkway is going to work here, a little too steep. And then if you look over this way, come over here, you'll see the darker soil over here, so that's going to be grass or wildflowers planted on the back side of that hill. And also more gravel down in here. We could probably get another car parked here if we wanted to, or if we're unloading stuff or need to bring the truck right up to the door. So that's given us, you know, about 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 extra parking spots. And then they gave us that parking area down below, which will open things up, especially when guys bring a trailer down or the UTVs. A lot of little things. I think a lot of this brush is going to have to be cleaned out eventually. There's some trees that need to be cut up that were cut down. And then everything's got to be kind of dressed and fixed up. A lot of work, and JD is going to get heavily involved in that work, I think. I might just leave JD down here for about a month. Everything that we need to do is probably going to involve JD somehow, especially when it comes to the gravel work. Make sure that the water drainage is doing well over here with this little culvert that they put in. I might have to extend the drain pipes from the gutters a little bit further down towards the road. So even though we're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel for this being occupied, there's going to be a lot more things happening here that is probably going to take actually years, I would think. I wouldn't venture building a deck this year. That's something I would have put off till next year. This was a pretty expensive endeavor to do this. We just don't want to keep dumping money into here. So probably regroup money-wise too for a little while and then see where we're at, see what kind of improvements we want to make. But that's going to do it for today. I appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to these videos. Click on that little bell when you want to know when a new one's coming out. And in the future, we're going to be figuring out what we do with the septic system over here and tying into a spring and the water over there. So keep on watching, and we'll see you in a week or so. Take care, everybody.